Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. I'm going to look at these as a first-time site visitor, checking for the content, usability, and you will take these points, make sure you make notes because you will be able to submit those for your when you submit your revision. So yeah, I'm just going to jump right in. Nice coloring style. I would make this image larger. I do like it. If this is yours and this is you, I would make it much larger. Let's see. If this is a company, make sure you register that with your state so that it's not just a fictitious company. You also don't want people to see it and decide to buy the domain that would be the URL for this company, so that when you went to buy it, they would charge you a lot, right? They could charge you anything they wanted to. They could charge you 800, 4,000, but if you don't put something up here that isn't an actual company, then no one's going to, try and buy that domain, hoping that somebody will want it, all right? And it might be available when you begin your company. So I would just put your name, and that's for everybody. If you have a company that you're just kind of playing around with a name, I wouldn't put that out there. I would just keep that under your hat until you are ready to purchase that and start your company with the state, right? And pay the fees and things like that. You can go to the government site for that. All right, not sure what this logo means, but it doesn't bother me. We do need to have what you do up here. It says designs. Is it digital design? Make sure that you check spelling. Okay, yeah. It looks like it might be, I don't know, that's something AI does, but keep tabs on that. And if this is an AI image, I don't know that it is. I would have to look really close. It looks like it's an illustration, but sometimes AI makes up things and doesn't, carry through on things like this. Doesn't have a wheel or a wheel. There's some added wheels here. Be mindful of that. You have to tell AI exactly what you want. That may be an image you found that someone else created with AI, but double check it. Make sure you're not creating websites with AI, everybody, because it will not be reflective of you. It will just default to generic terms of your industry, all right? And let's see, is this hooked up? Okay, so this button can go. It's not linked to anything. And if you actually have design experts, then you can leave that there. But if it's, if you don't have our design experts, you don't put that out there. It's tempting, I know, but don't do it. Just be, showing what you do. Okay, so this is more like it. We get to see what's going on. All right. We go here. Okay. This feels a little more like a logo than this. This is kind of busy for a logo. We keep it simple and it's created with a vector graphic and not AI. Something like Illustrator, which is sized to any, small or billboard size you want, because it's vectors and it mathematically calculates between the points when it is enlarged, okay, or reduced, and it will stay sharp at any size. So logos are always created with a vector graphic. Okay. This picture might need to be smaller just so it has better focus, a little sharper. This one's great. And okay. All right, so let's see about the contact. Let's remove your phone number. They can contact you through your email. Make sure you have your email up here though, and then you can give them your number if you decide to do that. Okay. All right, let's look at the mobile. Make sure everybody's using a free Google Voice number instead of your personal number. Okay. This may want to go underneath that and bring this up to the top. Otherwise, this one is kind of interrupting all of these things that are kind of in the same type of work. But so I would put this at the top. This is kind of washed out, so be sure to think about taking photos from a different angle or a different time of day so that this isn't in silhouette. But those are just tips. Good shot, good shot. Be very careful with branding. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd like to see that larger, probably over here and that over here. When you change your mobile, it won't affect your desktop. When you change your desktop, it will affect your mobile. Make sure we don't have any buttons that are not active. Okay. All right. So make sure you make the edits for week 4. Everybody so far has been doing a great job, and this one is no exception. So let's look at another. Okay, what we want up here, I like the logo, but what we want up here is your skill, what you do. All right, I need to see that. It's not enough that it's somewhere else. Be cautious about photos of children, especially babies. We would need that to be explained. And this is a video. Okay, that works. Okay, so this needs to have a description. All of these need a description, okay? Okay. So, yeah. This is placeholder. So remove that phone number. Make sure you have a footer content down there. You need a copyright symbol and the year and your name. These don't appear to be linked up. You need to have at least a LinkedIn and remove all those other ones. You need to have higher contrast here, and that will come up in week 4 when we work on accessibility. That should be flagged by the system. If not, regardless, make sure you increase the contrast there. All right. Yeah, so this needs to be up here somewhere. And you can work that out how you want it, but it needs to be in the header along with this content. All right, let's look at the mobile. Okay, let's remove these. They're not linked up. That comes out. Okay, so you have this in the footer here, but it's not showing up on one of your pages. This doesn't need to be as deep, this header, when you have, all of your navigation here in this hamburger menu. So you can close that space up. And these don't seem to be playing. All right, let's see. Yeah, make sure that let's see, one of the things that could be happening, this could be in a color that just isn't showing up on this page, right? It could be there, so double check that. There it is. So you'll have to work with that so that it is not the same color as the background and disappearing. All right. All right. Otherwise, great job. Make sure you add your descriptions for your particular assignments here and just those particular layout issues. All right. Great job. Okay. Lydia. Okay. This might need to be smaller because it's out of focus, and that won't sell you as a filmmaker. So you need to make sure you do that. Super easy to read. This is good. Nice, nice, good, good. I'm assuming this is your background, something of yours. If not, it would have to come out. Okay. This needs to be your email. That is set up. That's set up. Let's see. Okay. All right. Something we want to do. Okay. So what you want to do is go in here to your header, click on it, and you'll have the orange button over here or the text that says header, and you'll select the gear and freeze this. So what that will do is it will always be available so that when you get the about, you'll still have a menu. If you want, you can make this font just a little smaller, not much, and bring it up just a little so it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, all right? But it's linked beautifully, and the work is, I imagine if I click this, we're going to get a description. Very good, easy to read. It's got some great usability. Okay, just checking to make sure that the text is the same. Okay. This may have to be smaller just so it's sharper. Okay, because it looks like a great image. It just needed to be sharp. All right, to sell you in the best possible light on your website. And on mobile, it's a little better, It's still fuzzy here, sharper here. A little large. Let's reduce the size of that to reduce the scrolling. Okay. And this, you could center it to where this is the center over here. It doesn't bother me too much, though. You do need the copyright year. And you'll want that to be available also, just like your desktop. Good font choice for your headings. Yeah, a lot of scrolling there. All right, sometimes we do have to edit down, the about section when we get to the mobile because it's just too much content there. It's very common. So looking great. I think you're showcased really well. I like that you have this book here. Your videos, they are sharp and looking great. Just this a little bit. Maybe you can go in and sharpen this somehow in either Photoshop, Lightroom, something, um, maybe even, well, any application that you want, you can attempt it. Okay. All right. Let's look at another. Okay. So we want to double check this image here, what that is. It may be a video. Be careful about videos in your backgrounds. They take up a lot of space, and you want those as a cinematographer. You want to be able to use your work as an example to showcase. And if you don't have the space, then that's going to be an issue for you. We don't want videos in the header. Make sure that that's, you don't need whatever that is up there, I'm thinking. Good job with your footer. Previously when I selected that, okay, good. This is, it appears to be AI to me, and that won't be great for a cinematographer. I would have to look a little closer to confirm that that's what it is, but you would know, and that's what it is feeling like anyway. Okay. This one maybe not so much. If you're going to use AI, we have to tell it exactly what to do. Okay. For example, yeah, this one looks a little more real because we almost feel like it's got clamps and things that are real, but make sure that all your images are your own as a cinematographer. Make sure that this is not overlapping, and having that video in the background, keep in mind it's going to slow your site down as it tries to load that. It will look like it's loading quickly for you because it's already in your system, but for somebody landing on your site, it's going to take time. It's also in mine, so that's why it's not lagging right now. And the other thing is we have, let's see, a lot of clicking to get to the work. All right, I do like this, but my question is, why aren't we just landing here and having the heading up here instead of going to this page, what's the next one, and then another link to see the work, right? So you've got some added things that you don't need in here that as far as functionality. Make sure that you have higher contrast when you are on the page there so it doesn't disappear in the menu. Okay. All right. I mean, if you wanted to have just the background not be flashing so much, but be a still image, and then maybe one page as sort of a surprise, or vice versa, your home page can do it. And these could be just a screenshot of like that, and the whole thing back there. But you've done a good job as far as it still has enough contrast to read, and that's good. We don't have an image of you. That was a requirement, so keep that in mind. And the contact. Make sure that this is the same size font as this. Okay, that feels a little smaller. Maybe it's the style, but it looks like that's small. I just would prefer it bigger because it's the first word. Make sure that's a Google Voice, so you're not putting too much information out there for people to pick up, to scam, or rather give you more spam or anything like that. Okay, double check these links back here. This is nice and clean, and I hope it doesn't have the video in the back. You might want to take that rule out, but I do like it is legible. Usually these kind of fonts are not that easy to read. This will probably be flagged when you get to accessibility. You probably need to increase the contrast over here. Okay, all right, so let's look at the mobile. Yeah, that's just, it isn't needed, and you're blocking yourself here, so. Okay, I'd like to see an image of you there. And try not to crop off title pages of any kind. You may have to make an additional thumbnail image. This will need to have contrast for readability. You do need to put up here what you do, okay? So that every page someone lands on, they can see exactly what you do. So this has that video back there, but it took a long time to load. So you say cinematographer, we need to see that up here. However you want to fit it in and make it work. Yeah. All right. All right. So everybody set some time aside so that it's not stressful for you to make all the changes that you need to make. And hopefully you'll love what you end up with, and you'll be able to upload work over the next year or what have you, and keep it fresh. All right. Let's look at one more with this group. Okay, again, make sure that these names are registered with your state. You know, you don't want someone stealing it. Okay. Let's make this text box wider so it's not wrapping. Make sure that's a Google Voice number, and make sure you are linked up to your company. If you don't have a company, let's take this name out, Hollow Vision, and link to your professional LinkedIn. Take the others out, but do have at least a LinkedIn. This is placeholder, so that absolutely has to come out, right? Where it says this is your service location. This strip has to come out also, that section. And take all this out, because I'm pretty sure if I choose something like this, it's just a picture of words. It's not going anywhere. So take that out. Right. So basically it's a placeholder because we can't actually do anything with it. So let's look at that. So if this is your logo, if that is your company and you're registered, then that should be, let's see. Well, okay, it is up here, but let's look at this. This would need to be all centered. That needs to be centered. Centered, and make sure you're using the same style for all your headings. It's different. And if I select this, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What you think? So you hear all the debate. I want to see it.
We need a description about that. Yeah. Let's take the book online off because it's not a real service available yet, all right? So you can just hide that page if this is where you want to go, the direction you want to go to. You can just hide it when you go into your pages and menu. Same with that. Same with this. Again, this is stock image here. And that's still stock. I don't believe that this is footage you took. This was what you would need as a cinematographer. You want your own, ideally. People will, want to see that. Okay. You need to have your contact page. You do have it last, so that works. This is stock image. Came with the template, or you added it. I think it's with this template. Make sure that this is an existing company and that you're registered. This doesn't seem to be a button, so make sure you remove that. Be careful of the number. This should be linked. All right, so let's check your mobile. That's linked, so that's good. Okay. All right, so you'll want to make sure you carry over any logos and things consistently. Like that would be on all your socials. So let's take a look at the mobile. Yeah, this will have to be larger up here. This social icons probably go down here. Just down here, you have them there. That's really all you need. I would center them, but you don't necessarily need them in your header here. That's stock image. Put this really big and make sure whatever you do is right under it, and you don't need those. You're going to hide some of these pages that aren't actually being used. You're going to make consistent heading fonts. Make sure you only have 2 fonts, one for headings and one for body copy. So here we've got 1, 2, and let's see, 3. Yeah, an image of yourself there. Delete that. All right. Okay, everybody. So, yeah, if you allow enough time to make the adjustments, it will be fun and not stressful. Okay, so I'm excited to see what everybody's doing, and I can't wait to see your finishes next week. Contact me with any questions whatsoever. Terrific job, everybody.